Hello there, and welcome back to the Overcome Yourself podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Katy Maag. And Katy read 2 minutes of her story at the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit. She blew us away. So I'm so excited to introduce her here to you today. So, Katy, take it away. Tell us about you and tell us about your amazing story.
Oh, thank you. My name is Katy Maag. I've co-authored two books, The Cinderella Monologue and Live Live and Wow. I had a article published in a magazine, Vision Made magazine, on laughter yoga and how much benefits people can get for it. I've done that. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for over 3 decades. I've been doing speaking engagements since the mid 90s. I actually started out as a nurse of hope, and I would speak on cancer and what to look for if you have cancer. And then I've been a cardiac rehab nurse. I go to the Hill and advocate for heart health, and I've been on different committees. And then as a kid, I had a lot of traumatic things happen to me. Like my first memory is actually when my dad had passed away. And my grandma took us to the funeral home, and she's like, now make sure you take a good look, because this is going to be a long time before you see him again. And my mom was not mentally well, so I helped take care of her. I missed 45 days of school my junior year. You know, most people, when they graduate high school, they look to see if their diploma was signed. I'm like, yeah, I know it wasn't. I'm like, well, whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, basically. I would use humor a lot when I was growing up, and I kind of didn't realize I did until I got older, and I discovered I do cardiac rehab, and my patients were exercising with their ears to their shoulders. And I'm like, how can you do that? I know they're nervous and scared. So I started looking into ways to kind of help relieve their stress. And I found laughter yoga, but we don't have it in our area. So I had to go down to Cincinnati and be trained. First time I went, I'll be honest, they're a little more liberal than I am. I have no problem with that, but just in the area I live, it's more conservative. So I was like kind of nervous, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Da, 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 da. And, we start in and we do this whole hour session. And when we're done, I'm like looking around, looking at everybody, and their faces are smoother and they look younger. And I'm like, yes, fountain of youth, here I come. I knew right then, and how much better I felt just doing that. And then I went on and became certified in laughter yoga leader. Then I went on and became certified in laughter yoga teacher, so I can teach other people. And then I discovered the Applied Therapeutic Humorous Group. So what that is an organization that are a lot of teachers and medical professionals, a lot of people that realize how much benefit laughter has, or humor has, on the human body, whether you're a little kid or you're older, and everybody can laugh. You can, actually that's one of the first things kids do as a social interaction is laughter.
Yeah.
And people look at me when I tell them that, I'm like, they don't even talk and they still can laugh at you first. And they're like, wow. But you think about it. And the studies show that like children laugh 300 to 400 times a day, adults 17. Why? Because it gets into our amygdala. We have to be serious. We have to do this, and this. And we kind of lose our vigor and our vim and our fun and, all that, just because we're going through the motions just to get to the next best, instead of taking a step back, enjoying the time, being grateful for what you have, because nothing's guaranteed in life. Nothing is guaranteed in life. So I try to help facilitate more laughter for people, whether it be in corporations or organizations, or I even put a sign on bathroom one time just because it wasn't nothing nasty. It was like, please remain seated until the entire performance is done. Number one, it wasn't nothing mean, or, it was just enough that somebody was sitting there and would look at it and just kind of laugh a little bit, just enough. It wasn't derogatory, just to add a little more humor to their day. I try to add humor wherever I can. I'm very quick-witted, as what I'm told. I guess that's good, bad. So
that is amazing. That is like so amazing. So we got a small taste of laughter yoga in the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit, because one of your students also spoke at the summit, Olivia. So shout out to Olivia for connecting us to you. And so it was amazing. It was amazing to see the different expressions of laughter. Can you give us an example of a laughter yoga exercise we can do?
I can actually, when you first do it, I'll be honest, I've done it before on podcasts, and the lady, she's like, well, this feels kind of odd. I'm like, correct, it does when you first start doing it, because number one, you're not used to it. Number two, it is kind of odd if you've never done it before, but it's like any other yoga practice or any other modality of exercise. Until you get used to it, is feel kind of odd. It's like riding a bike with only one foot, but you can do it. It's just a little harder, But one I usually do, and I start off with, is just because laughter yoga is the practice of laughing and clapping your hands because of the pressure points in our hands. So it elicits that good feeling in our hands. Because the first thing you do, what do you do with little kids? Patty cake, patty cake, patty cake. And that's a very good social interaction that they had, and it brings those positive memories back, for one. Plus pressure points in our hands. And then we do laughing, and then we do a grounding at the end. But one thing that's called laughter yoga is because you increase oxygen to your lungs by at least 50%. So I usually have people take a couple deep breaths. The first two, just slowly let out. And then the third one, just laugh. You can laugh a little laugh if you want, or hearty laugh if you want. It doesn't matter. So if you want to practice now, we'll just practice that just briefly a little bit. Okay. So if you want to okay, so take a deep breath in and slowly exhale out. Take another deep breath in, nice and slow and easy. Slowly exhale out. All right, we're going to do that again. And when we exhale, we're just going to laugh. You can laugh a little or you can laugh a lot. So take a deep breath in. And
Yay.
and laughter's contagious. Have you ever drove your car or walked, and all of a sudden you see somebody else laughing? You don't know what they're laughing at, but you start laughing also. So it is contagious. It's a team builder. It's hard to be mad at somebody after you've laughed with them, to be honest. So
yes, and it feels good, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm laughing. Oh, that's wonderful. And that's a great exercise to add to our breathing, right? Because a lot of times we do breathing, and that is amazing because breathing centers you and it helps you feel present and it helps you ground yourself. But then to end with some laughter just to bring yourself up, laughter is the best medicine, right? And we can choose to laugh, and we can, it might be a little, like you said, awkward at first, but even practicing with Olivia, we've learned, right? And so like when we do the yes, and we do yes. So I love that one that she taught us. And it does bring us back to that childhood, right? Where we would get excited and we would celebrate like the small things. And that's gonna, like, when we choose to do those things, that's gonna release those chemicals because our brain doesn't really know the difference, right? So we start feeling good and those feel-good chemicals are released, and we're just helping ourselves with these tiny things. They don't cost money, just laugh. I love that because when we are, my book, I talk about practicing gratitude, and we have to be practicing in the moments when we don't necessarily need it, when things are going well, so that when shit hits the fan, we have something, right, to rely on. Oh, look, there it is. Because it's harder, right? It's harder when things aren't going well to refocus. So I love the idea of incorporating laughter just to help us really reframe and see things in a different way, because laughter just brings it out of us. So I love that so much. Thank you for doing that. So you mentioned that in the journey of overcoming yourself, you mentioned that humor was a big part of that. So can you talk to me a little bit more about that journey, um, and how you discovered that, I guess?
I discovered it. I would be very quick-witted and I don't typically make fun of somebody else because I know how it is. I used to weigh 350 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So, you think about it, I was bullied as a kid because I didn't go to school. I mean, but I don't know very many people that were not bullied, to be honest with you. And it's hard. It's hard nowadays to try to teach your children that being bullied is not about, they're technically something wrong with that person, or they feel threatened. Like I tell my younger son when he was younger, I'm like, look, they never kick a dead dog, do they? No offense, PETA, don't come after me, but they don't kick a dead dog. They don't. But if there's something that they feel like they're threatened, or somebody they feel like and they resonate with each other some way, or they wouldn't. They want to make them feel worse or bad or whatever. So, like I said, I was bullied. I had probably any kind of abuse you could think of. I've surpassed it, overcome it, whatever. My oldest child was 1 pound and 12 ounces at birth. And to be honest, he had a trach for 3 years. He has cerebral palsy. He's my full-time caregiving job. And then I have a part-time job, and then I'm a regular job, but I have to use laughter to get through some of that sometimes. And I've even went out there to their clinic and, or not clinic, their day camp, and done laughter with some of those people. And it's kind of funny because I've done laughter with little kids, and I've done it all the way up to senior citizens. And there's not anybody who can't laugh. It's just, you need to choose to laugh, because when you first laugh and you're not doing it for a feeling of laughter, but actually it builds until you actually build and actually do real laughter, which is when the positive chemicals come out. But I've used it a lot. I've had to use it just to keep myself in perspective of, okay, this is short. Would I tell you, no, I never fell and couldn't get out of something? No, I wouldn't say that. I've had a previous manager that was just not a nice person, and I allowed her to take time and space in my head. And I about done something that was very, very to the extreme. You have to read my book, but because I let her take space and time instead of, getting back to, her opinion really doesn't matter. Why did I allow that? So I started laughing more. And it's kind of funny because once you kind of get used to laughter, that was a question this morning somebody put out on Facebook. Well, what do you do for self-care? Well, I spend 20 minutes a day on self-care, because you need to exercise so many times a day. You need to meditate or be grounded with gratitude and even thought process and laughter. So I spend 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, and 20 minutes in the evening is more doable for me than just saying, oh, it's an hour and that's it. So I have to keep practicing that just to keep myself going. And I'll be honest, I got some really crazy friends who won't, they tease me and I tease them back, and just laughing. I mean, we were laughing last night about something just crazy.
Yeah.
We were playing categories, and they're like, how did you think of those things so fast? I said, look, I do improv. You learn to think quick.
That's wonderful. I absolutely love it, because bringing laughter intentionally into everything that we do, like you said, it lightens up the situation. Like even at home, just having fun, letting loose, and being able to laugh together. It's like eating together. Like there's a bond, like you said. And I love the example of babies. Like that's the first thing they do. And you're right. And when you hear a baby laugh, that's like That's like the purest sound in the world, right? It's just like this purity to it. And we can stay true to that. We can come back to that in our laughter when we enjoy, when we laugh with our families, when we laugh by ourselves, we watch something funny. So like if it's tough for us, maybe going and watching like a really funny, like clean, funny YouTube video or something that'll help raise our spirits. I love how you mentioned that you have this habit. Because in my book, the three big themes we talk about is gratitude, the success habits, tiny, tiny, tiny success habits, and then seeing the strength, that what's actually the strength and what you always thought was your weakness. And so I love how you talk about you've incorporated gratitude, because gratitude is just like such a huge foundation for me. And then the success habit, one of your success habits is doing your laughter 20 minutes a day. And so even if we don't start with that, right? If we add, like we do our, some of my success habits, like 10,000 steps, drinking my water, reading, doing certain things, but adding, hey, let me laugh, even if it's for 1 minute. Let me sit down, take a few deep breaths, and take 30 seconds of just focused laughter until it just comes out of you, right? Because then you start laughing at yourself because you're like, what am I doing? I must look hilarious. And then you start laughing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And then just bringing that up. I absolutely love that. Even if it's for no reason, just laugh for no reason. Sometimes I'll be like walking around and I'll start laughing and my partner's like, what are you laughing at? I just thought of something funny. I don't think I can explain it to you, but it's hilarious. So I'm going to laugh and then we'll move on. So yes, I absolutely love that. And so let's talk about how do we hang out with you? How do we follow you on social media? How do we work with you?
Well, I am also a happiness coach, oddly enough, but I'm also a happiness coach. I have a webpage called KM Wellness Consulting, and I'm on LinkedIn. I'm still working on that. That's a work in progress. That's always a work in progress because I got 20 million hats that I'm wearing. Some of the hats are funny, some of them not so much, but I love it. I'm working more in becoming an individual coach versus I can do both, but like I said, I've had such a diverse background, and the one book I said I'm seasoned with wisecracks because, yeah, I usually like to laugh, but it doesn't mean that I've stopped me, and laughter changes your perspective. So I'm trying to get more and more one-on-one customers, of course, but corporate also. I had a company reach out and said, our caregivers are actually starting to struggle because of the pandemic, which rightfully so, they really are, and want to know how we can incorporate laughter into the business. And I said, we can do that, because it's, you think about, everybody wants to know, what is it for me if I do this? Well, here's the thing, as a corporate person, if your staff is more unified because they've laughed together or have a better understanding of each other, or feel like they're a part of something, they're going to stay longer. And that just, if you're a caregiver, that goes down into who you've taken care of and whatever. Like I usually laugh with my patients. Sometimes I have to laugh sometimes when they come in and they're all nervous and whatever. And I get it. I hate being on the scale. As I said, I weigh 350 pounds and everybody's like, oh, I got to get on the scale. I'm like, I know, you got to stop when you get to your underwear though. That's the only criteria. It's just enough that they look at me and laugh. I'm like, I'm just kidding, but it's enough to break because it is nerve wracking because they are coming in and being scary.
It is scary. Working in medicine the medical field is a monster, right? Like the hours are long. It's very stressful. Like you don't stop. The people are not very nice sometimes, and it's a lot to deal with. And then as a patient going in, it's very scary because you don't know what they're about to tell you, or you don't know what's going to happen. And oh my God, is this lady going to be one of those mean ladies now, because because there's so many factors. And so that's amazing. And then the contact information so speaking corporate and doing these things, that's on your website as well, right?
Yes, it is. Yep. It
Awesome.
has my email that you can contact me. It's on LinkedIn. You can contact me there. As I said, I'm trying to get more one-on-one one-on-one because I think people would do more one-on-one. I can help them. I'm also a stress management coach. Besides, I actually thought the first one was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So I did a second one, and then I did a brain health coaching class. That was very interesting because it talked about gratitude and it talked about laughter and it talked about all these things I already do. So it incorporates it all and just made it more conducive. But yeah.
Yes. Well, gratitude, I stumbled into gratitude, and the more research I do, the more I realize that this isn't, it's not like this woo-woo thing. Like there is like measurable differences in the brain. There's measurable differences in like perspective. Like there are, when nurses are surveyed about cancer patients, and they're like, well, what is who's most likely to be able to overcome this? And the nurses will be like, well, whoever's the most grateful. The ones that have the most grateful attitude are the ones that are usually able to overcome. And obviously not in all cases, but it's significant enough that the nurses are pointing this out. And so this is not only in these situations, but in another podcast episode, we also talked about how gratitude is not like a past thing, right? We think about we're grateful for the past, but because it changes our perspective, gratitude is actually like a future thing. So we are actually reforming and there's so much to dig into with gratitude. Like this is real scientific stuff, and so it's absolutely incredible. And I love how you've brought in the element of laughter to that. That is not something that I talked about, and that's definitely a vein that I'd love to dig down. That is absolutely incredible. And so for your one-on-one clients as well, if someone's interested in working with you one-on-one, they would just go to the website as well. Is there a specific spot you need them to go?
Yes, there is a calendar link.
Perfect. And right on the website. So we will make sure that all of those links are down below, as well as those books. You have more than one book, right, Katy?
Yeah, actually, funny, they're behind me. One is Cinderella Monologues, the other one's Live Life and Wow, and then Kyle Edgell is a applied therapeutic humorist, and she did my caricature, which I think is kind of funny in a way.
Show us. Yes, it's beautiful. Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at that hair.
Yeah, it's natural.
I absolutely love it. Well, Katy, before we sign off here, first of all, I want to tell you, you are an absolute superhero, like with everything that you do. Being a mom is being a superhero, but being a mom that's also a caretaker full time is next level. Like I grew up with my great grandparents. I remember from a very small age, like, helping my grandma prick her fingers to check her stuff, and then doing my grandma's feeding through her feeding tube when she was going through cancer. And so a lot of people don't understand the toll that it takes on people to be a caretaker. It is really a full-time thing. And so I just want to tip my hat to you and commend you and tell you that you are absolutely amazing, and I'm proud of you. And I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. I am of you as well, Nicole. I
Thank
love
you
it.
so much.
You can even be grateful to laugh.
Yes.
Everybody can laugh. So
So Katy, now before we sign off, I would love to know, what is one final tip that you would like to leave with our audience about laughter, about life?
oh boy. Here's the thing, people don't grow old. They forget to laugh, which makes getting old even harder.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
yes.
Growing old is a privilege. Not everybody gets to do that,
Mhm.
but you get to choose. Look at Betty White. Look how a magnificent life. And she was quick-witted and fun and light-hearted until the end. She got to choose how she wanted to be that way. She got to choose.
Yes.
So
I love that. And as someone whose mom died when she was 29, my mom was only 29. I was 1.5. I know exactly what you mean. Growing old is a privilege. And so, yeah, it's beautiful to do it with laughter, to do it with grace, to do it with gratitude, right? And so to not miss what could have been, to miss the past, right? Because even you always kind of, you look back on some stages and you're like, I wish I knew then what I know now, right? But
Coulda,
you get
woulda,
to,
sorry.
go ahead. No,
Coulda,
no.
woulda, shoulda.
And that's where gratitude, that's where laughter, that's where being present and taking breaths. We realize, because if we don't enjoy right now, then the next season we're going to be looking back at the season the same way. And so, oh my God, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I love you so much, Katy. Thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing. And we will see each other on the World Wide Web. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Bye.